What's going on there, YouTubers, gamers and fellow hobbyists, and welcome to another episode of P&Q, my question and answer series where you get to ask me questions or leave comments, serious or not, about anything pretty much, and I'll answer you the following week. You can do this one of two ways. You need to pop your comments or questions down below in the comments section, or you can email me at miniwarzone@gmail.com and I'll leave a link in the video description below. Now, if you're new to this series, it is aired every Monday without fail. And this is my longest running series on my channel now. Every Monday without fail. We're on episode 80, I don't know, 88, 89, something like that. Chasing down the 100 mark. Episodes of this question and answer series. It goes up on a Monday. It's typically recorded on a Friday or over the weekend, depending on my schedule. It's a good word, isn't it? Schedule. And what I've got going on. And yeah, and sometimes questions or comments get left after the fact, after it's been recorded, but they'll always get addressed on the next episode as soon as. Okay. Moving on. The first question then comes from E-Tron, and he submitted this on the week before last P&Q, but it's okay, I caught it on my notifications, so no problem. So he asks me, cool stuff. Well, he says, cool stuff, Pete. I'm also into the paranormal. Had a few experiences when I was younger. Also got EVPs of voice recorders. What steampunk-esque games or skirmish games do you play, if any? Also, what do you think to people selling the new limited edition anniversary Marine for 3 times what it was being sold for? And do you think GW should have been more on the ball when it comes to how many each person could order? And the eBay people selling them. Cheers, E-Tron. Well, there's a lot to digest there and take in. So, as regards to the paranormal, that's pretty cool because it interests me. You know, all that stuff. I like ghosts, ghost hunting, that kind of thing. I just find it fun and really cool. I'd love to have a go at it. I'd love to stay in a haunted house for the weekend or whatever. Be part of anything going on like that. Yeah, that'd be really cool. What steampunk-esque games or skirmish games do you play? Skirmish games. Well, I play a lot of skirmish games. Not many of them are steampunk. I suppose the most obvious steampunk game I play is War Machine. That's because that's steampunk. Although I'm hoping to get into, I'm looking at other stuff, the likes of Malifaux and that kind of thing. As you know, Guild Ball interests me. It was way out of my price range when I went to Salute, which tilted me in favour of my jugular stuff I'm doing with the gladiatorial arena and all the rest of it. But yeah, I suppose War Machine. But it's the other skirmish games. I play a load of stuff. Hordes, Ronin, just to name but 2. Don't play Bolt Action so much now. In fact, I don't play it at all. But people play that as larger scale games. Primarily it was a skirmish game when it came out. So, but yeah. As far as steampunk goes, that's where I'm at. What do I think about people selling the new limited edition anniversary Marine for 3 times what it's being sold for? Yeah, and the whole eBay thing. I've always been a bit like, I wish people wouldn't do that sort of thing. It's like when they do a limited edition set deck of cards for a game or something, and then people go and buy like 20 of them and then just sell them for like stupid money. I think that's wrong. I do wish they had some form of, I wish they could exercise some form of control on it. They do these limited edition things because they know that people are going to buy them. Unfortunately, you know, if people want them and they can't get them through the normal means, you know, a lot of people will pay that extra money, which is a shame, which is why these people do it, these unscrupulous people. You know, but if someone's bought the miniature and painted it up and done a really good job, that's different, I think. But just to buy it, you know, and not even open it and then sell it for more money, I think that's a bit wrong. That's, you know, I know it's legal, but, you know, I think it's morally wrong. Come on, guys, give us a chance. But that's just my take on it. But thanks for your question, E-Tron. Hope to see more of you around, especially with your guild borgs. That's interesting. I'll be because I couldn't get into it then. It's no saying I won't be able to one day. Perhaps if I can save some money, like make my own pitch and things, you know, stuff like that. And I'd like to see, what I'd like to see, E-Tron, is someone like yourself just getting into it. How you start off, learning your rules, what you need to play, and then, you know, walk through a basic first game. That would be awesome. Because, yeah, you get the odd one or two here and there, but the more the better, really, of that kind of thing. But yeah, I mean, that's what I'm hoping to do with Gates of Antares, similar sort of thing. But anyway, yes, thank you for your question. Right. Idic Beer is next. He says, another great vid, Pete. Are you watching the World Snooker? What sports do you watch / like? No, I'm not watching anything because I don't have TV. Seriously, I do not have TV. If I want to watch anything, I'd have to do it online or stream it or something. I used to watch snooker when I was younger. Back in the olden days, back in the days of Steve Davis and Ray Reardon and, you know, Eddie Charlton and all those greats long past. Well, I think Steve Davis has only just recently retired, hasn't he, from professional snooker? But what sports do I watch or like? I don't really watch. Well, I don't watch any sports. What sports do I like? I don't know, it can vary, depends on my mood, you know. I suppose it depends where I am, if I'm out somewhere. My favourite sport of all time is tennis. But I don't get to watch that now, apart from streaming on Wimbledon, really. It's the only time I watch it. I used to follow all the Grand Slams and all the tournaments, but I don't know, because my hobby's just taken over. Now I tend to spend my last couple of years before I got rid of TV package. I realised I wasn't watching it. I was spending time painting and modelling and gaming and that instead. So I just got rid of it, and that was really the only thing I did watch was the tennis. So but yeah, so I haven't watched the World Snooker, although I used to when I was younger. Back in the old days. I don't watch anything now, but tennis is my favourite sport. I used to play when I was a kid. I used to have lessons. I wasn't that good at it, but it was fun. Okay. This is a bit more chilled. I can't see you that well because there's a glare on the little screen, and that's why I've got my glasses on to try and see. I've got my foot up on my other chair. Yeah, I could put my feet up on the chairs here because it's my place. Warforge. He says, great P&Q. What do you think about Orruk for Age of Sigmar? Orruks. It's orcs, damn it. It's orcs. I don't care how he says Orruks. That's silly. That's just stupid. It's orcs. It'll always be orcs. It's orcs. And I call them orcs. And I always will. Anyway, Heresy Productions now. It says, nice P&Q. What are your favourite metallic paints to use? Well, I've got two. Well, three, depending on what type of metallics. If I'm talking about gold, I know, like, this one here. I like Citadel's Retributor Armour, because that's a nice bright yellow gold. The other gold I like is scale colour dwarven gold. Lead Belcher is a good base. I like gunmetal from Vallejo. Runefang steel for highlights. Yeah, so I would say I like the GW ones mainly. I like Balthazar gold for the darker golds. So GW, Vallejo, and this scale colour here. Dwarven gold. Yeah. They're nice, bright. Yeah, I think these are better for things like fantasy and like the steampunk-esque models, like the War Machine models and that. Right, Jam Jar 34 says, "Great P&Q, Pete. What are your thoughts on the game Gates of Antares? Name 3 things you really like about it. And a bonus question, what are your future plans with the game?" Wow, that's a great question. That's a really good question. I like that. What 3 things I like about it? I suppose the first thing that drew me to it was the fluff, the whole Stargate-esque appeal. And it can literally take place anywhere, anytime, any place. You know, that is limitless material there, right there. Secondly was the models. I think the models look really cool. And they're easy to put together. They are really easy to put together. As opposed to bolt action figures, I found them quite difficult to put together. The arms and that were tricky. But Gates of Antares, and the game mechanic is something I like about it as well. So it follows a similar mechanic to bolt action, and it was the game mechanic that drew me to that in the first place. The whole choosing order dice from the bag, and the fact that it could be your go 2 or 3 times in a row. You know, it's just random. It's not my go, your go, my go, your go. It's none of that. It's all random. And then there's a I think there's some sort of disruption dice as well in the Gates of Antares, but I'll go through that, where it can be not good for you if you choose it. What are my future plans for it? Well, as I was saying to E-Tron about the Guild Ball, I want to cover everything, every aspect, from, like, you know, modelling and painting, talking about the models. I want to go through playing the game from scratch. I want to film battle reports. I want to do everything with it. I want to do fluffy videos, everything, because I just love it. I think it's brilliant. And yeah, just watch this space for that, you know. So that's, yeah, but that's a brilliant question. So the fluff, the models and the game mechanics is what drew me to it. That's 3 things I really like about it. And my future plans with the game, I want to cover every aspect of it that I can. I give you a question. And tattoo for you, Richard. He says, "Awesome P&Q, brother. Gonna dive right into the goodies. With the current storyline advancing in 40k, and then in brackets says 13th company re-emerging, named character deaths in the recent Tau books, as well as Farsight," and I didn't know that, more or less reuniting with the Tau Empire. Alright. How would you like them to advance? Not burn your models, revamping 40k, just adding to the narrative of things. Personally, Death of the Emperor is high on my list. So do you get to go to the movies often as a family? Right, well, I'll do the easier one first, I think. Do I get to go to the movies often as a family? No, not too often. Not because we can't, because there's never anything really that takes my fancy. I think, well, is it worth paying all that money? And it's not cheap to go to the cinema, is it? Ian, I'm sure you know. Is it worth paying all that money, or wait a few months and get it on Blu-ray or whatever? It's got to be a pretty special movie to get me out there, you know, like Star Wars and that kind of thing. Other than that, I suppose a couple of times a year, maybe, as a family. We all got slightly different tastes in movies as well. I suppose my wife and I have more similar tastes than my daughter. She likes some different films to us. And yeah. So that's why we don't go so that often. Right. So how do I like them to advance the story of Warhammer 40k? You're saying Death of the Emperor's High on List. I mean, part of me wants them to do that, and the other part doesn't. I mean, you know, I notice he's been getting more aged and decrepit as time goes by with each edition of the rules. He's virtually just a skeleton sat on a throne now, isn't he? Death of the Emperor. Yeah, I mean, I don't want him to do it's like, you know, I don't want him to do a kind of end times with 40k and lead to something else, like, you know. I mean, with the fantasy, they had to do it because, you know, sales were dwindling and they had to progress the story. Then they did the end times, and I think, you know, everybody went nuts about that and loved it. But then they ended the world, and I think they did that too soon. I think they were just eager to offload all their old stuff and not have to do that anymore and get this new Age of Sigmar out. So it was a bold move on their part, and it needed doing. But I think they did it too quickly. Now, as far as 40k goes, I don't think they're in a position where they have to do that at the moment. So I don't think they would progress the storyline. But if they did, Death of the Emperor, well, I think you could have a whole new heresy on your hands there. Yeah, they could do a whole new thing, unless they did something like the Emperor dies and then New Age, they could speed it up to, like, I don't know, 50k or something like that. Have all new weapons and models and armies, and we all have to go and buy new stuff, and yeah, and then 40k would feel like 30k. Because let's face it, 30k and 40k, 30k is vastly underpowered compared to 40k. If you'd have put a 40k army against a 30k army, the 30k army would be vastly underpowered. But there's a lot of vastly underpowered armies now, I feel. It's tricky, but would I want them to... How would I want them to progress the story? Yeah, I suppose Death of the Emperor is an obvious one. They could do something with the Tyranids as well. Maybe reveal what it is they could possibly be running from. Some greater threat, perhaps. Or maybe the Tau finally invent, like, warp travel or whatever, and they can go to anywhere they want. I don't know. So I'd like something to happen with Cypher and the Dark Angels. Perhaps Cypher, I don't know. I think one of the Primarchs would try and step in and try and become the next Emperor. Essentially what Horus wanted, I suppose. Yeah, I could sit and talk and think about that all day. But yeah, I can't really think of any one specific thing. But yeah, definitely the Emperor. Yeah, kind of want that to happen, but then I kind of don't want it to happen. I'm kind of happy where things are. But yeah, anyway, that's all the questions and comments I had from last week and the week before and the week before that. 2 emails. One, I'm sorry. This next one, I'm sorry I missed it. It dropped into my spam box last week. It happens, I'm afraid. But I do go through my spam and I usually find them. I'm sorry if I've missed any. But I found yours now. Anyway, he says, "Hi Pete, just wondered what's with the cogwheels intro on your P&Qs? Also, why do you have different intros on different videos? Loving the Zombicide stuff, by the way." Well, thank you for that. If you're interested, I've got more Zombicide stuff. Just check my playlist. I've got a Zombicide Battle Report playlist, and I've got a Don't Open Dead Inside playlist, which details all my updates on the painting of said figures. Why do I have different intros on different videos? Because I don't want to. I just find it. I don't like having the same intro on every video. I get bored with that, but I realise that it kind of paves your kind of feel of your channel. I get that, but mine is different for every series. Yeah, not that I don't do brilliant intros, but I like to do the same intro for every video in that series if I can. But I like every series to have a different intro, if that makes sense. What's with the cogwheels? Well, as I said earlier, in this episode, P&Q is my longest running series, and I know it just seems fitting because it runs like clockwork. Perhaps I shouldn't have said that, but it does. It runs like clockwork. It goes out every week without fail. It just churns them out and out like a mechanical thing, and the cogwheels just seem apt for it. And it's evolving all the time as well, so you know my intros change, and as I get better software and the more experience, they'll change yet again. Thank you for your email. And the email I got this week was, Can I ask you, what is the worst hobby accident you've ever had? I once dropped a hobby knife on my leg and I was wearing shorts. Ooh, wow. Although I didn't hit an artery, it bled like an overflowing tap and took ages to stop. Ow. Worst hobby accident I've ever had. Thankfully I've never had anything involving knives. I suppose the time I super glued my tongue to my lip was top of that. And it was properly, thoroughly glued. I had to rip skin off my lip. I don't know, it's like I don't know how it happened, to be honest. But I got super glue, and I was like that. I mean, I'm tongue tied anyway, which, but yeah. So anyway, super glued my tongue to my top lip. That's my worst one. Anyway, thank you for your questions and comments. Please keep them coming. This series couldn't operate like it does without them. Thank you, and I will see you guys next week on P&Q. Till then, all brushes lead to war. Bye for now.